All right, well, these pieces are going to go in the garbage. I never actually replaced the outer trims, or whatever you want to call this, a diffuser, scraper. I actually replaced the center air dam on the C6 because it was cracked. But these are original. In the garbage they go. And yeah, just waiting for the oil to finish draining, and then I'm going to reinstall everything, clean up the mess, and actually I'm going to change the oil on the lawn tractor as well while I'm at it, and call it day on that. All right, so I got the vehicle out of the garage here. It's raining, but can't really see the fit and finish that well just because of the lighting, but here it is. Like I said, looks pretty good. I'm gonna let it settle for a few days or a week or whatever, and when I get to it, I get to it. I think I gotta tighten up that side just a little bit, but overall it's, like I said, it's pretty rigid. It's not bad. You can kind of tell, you know, it's not just flopping in the air, and the sides look pretty good as well. So I guess that's the wrap, and we'll see how it holds up. Now, on a side note, as you guys can see, I'm draining the oil right now, but I have full access to the plug and the filter right here, right behind the header. So yeah, I can actually do these oil changes without lifting the vehicle. That's pretty cool. All right, so while we're on this oil change, you know, it's always nice to kind of look at your oil and the filter and look for any metal shavings or metal flakes. Looks pretty good. I mean, you know, I don't race this vehicle every time I, you know, drive it, or I don't take it to the track every weekend, but I can tell you that I do beat on this vehicle pretty good, and it's about to receive more performance parts. So oil looks dirty as expected. It's been over a year since I did an oil change, and partially just because I did drive it, but I didn't put that many miles on it. And normally I do a single oil change every year. This year I'm actually going to do 2 oil changes. So I'm going to do this one right now, and then when I do my heads and cam, I'm going to do another one. So just to kind of flush out the engine. Specifically, after the heads and cam go in, you want to run it and do a basically in between oil change. Probably put, you know, a couple hundred miles on it, and then whatever, you know, either metal shavings or as parts kind of mate and wear together, you definitely want to dump the oil and replace it. So the filter and the oil will be replaced again this year. So yeah, I use Mobil 1 oil, 530, and then also Mobil 1 oil filter as well. You know, it's better to be safe than sorry, you know, type of thing. So I try to use the right fluids. I've replaced every single fluid in this vehicle since I got it. Diff, trans, power steering, you name it. So, all right, let's put the filter on, fill the oil, and I'm actually going to move this pan over to the tractor, as I stated before, and drain that sucker as well. All right, so got the oil change done. Even changed the oil on the tractor. That's just basically a simple oil change. There's no oil filter on this particular tractor. So it's just drain and put 10W30 in. But anyway, going back to the C6, when you're doing oil changes, just take your time. Make sure you torque the drain plug. Make sure you check for O-ring on the old oil filter that you removed. Make sure it's not stuck. And of course, lubricate the new oil filter, the seal that is, or the O-ring, with oil before you install it. Make sure everything is torqued. Make sure obviously the oil is in, which it is. And on this C6 specifically, it still has the original drain plug. And I did notice that the seal is starting to, it's not cracked, but it's starting to show some wear. So I'm going to have to get a whole new drain plug. But the point of this drain plug here, it does have a magnet, which is a great way of just, you know, I guess measuring if you do have any metal floating around in your vehicle. Being that this is aluminum, you'll always have a little bit of buildup on the tip of the drain plug itself on the magnet side. And it's also common to see some metal shavings, obviously not huge chunks, on these LSs as well, specifically if you will say using them and abuse them. But anyway, one of the tricks that I've always, I guess, followed, and that's because of my grandfather and my father, is after an oil change, you want to build up oil pressure. So on fuel injected vehicles, you can actually just floor the vehicle all the way, and the vehicle won't start in a wide open throttle position. Most vehicles will do that, newer vehicles. If it's, you know, carbureted or whatever, my father and my grandfather used to just basically bump start the vehicle a little bit. So start it, shut it down, start it, shut it down. On the third try, they would, you know, finally start the vehicle and let it warm up. So that's exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm going to put my right foot on the throttle and we're going to start it. Let me make sure the fob is on me. All right, there it is. Oh, you know what? And that's good enough. So now we're going to just start it. And we got oil pressure, which is good. I'm going to back this thing off those boards that I put on. And it's, what, 46 psi at idle, so that's awesome. And of course, check for leaks. And the reason it didn't start the first time is because I had my foot on the throttle. I didn't have my foot on the brake, my left foot, that is, when you're doing this sequence. All right, I'm gonna let it warm up, and I'm gonna try to back this vehicle out enough to give you guys a little better view. Like I said, the weather is very crappy.